5 days, that's it. Left. I got 4 days left in 2023. Everybody knows what it all means. As we are counting down the final days of 2023 with you, because New Year's Day is going to be Michigan and Alabama, the college football semifinal. Everybody knows that. Jerry Diorio is with us, the former Wolverine. We're ready to talk about that game and some other things in and around college football. Jerry, how are you?
I'm doing great, Denny. Great to be a Michigan Wolverine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm, you get to a point where I don't know if it's where you get older, like you say, everybody, at some point in March and everything, people will be like, hey, 150 days to the season. I'm like, I know, like we're counting them down. I'm going to try to enjoy the summer and everything else, but they're doing, the same thing after the Big Ten championship game, it's a month off, and outside just, enjoy each day, and Christmas and everything else. But, I'm getting here to the final days where I am ready. I'm like right with everybody else, ready to kind of just get ready for this game coming up on Saturday. Jerry, we're going to talk about it, but, they're out there in California. I think, the hay's in the barn. Like, we're ready. We're ready to open it up and, get this one underway at around 5:00 on Monday.
Yeah, and I think we should be feeling pretty good. I like where we're at. I like what I saw on their defense. I think we can take advantage of some things. I think there's some matchups there that are favorable for us, and I like our prospects.
But I'm glad to hear you say that. There's always people that are going to be worried about every game that Michigan goes into. Worried about the future of recruiting, the future of the coaching staff. There's always, if you want, things to be worried about. And I recall it was a week or two ago, somebody was just on Twitter and I don't know if they were complaining, but Samaj Morgan had, the great kick return
right
in the Big Ten championship game. And the guy was saying, like, I guess it's fair to ask where this has been all year, and I was going to get in there and say, well, he's just a freshman. And, look at Jake Thaw. I think he showed his value. He might've had some spots where I think people were getting a little bit, they wanted something else back there, but then, he showed his value. I think it was in the Penn State game, had a couple nice catches and, really did a nice job for Michigan. And, somebody had pointed that out and, he's like, I just want to know, I'm always worried. And, if you lose, if Michigan wasn't sitting in the spot they were, I think you could go back and there would be some things you'd say, oh, well, maybe this or maybe that. But, everything worked. They got to this point. So we'll touch a little bit more on Michigan just being 5 days away from the Rose Bowl and their matchup against Alabama. Jerry mentioned looking at some of the Tide tape. Last week we watched a little bit of the Iron Bowl with Alabama and Auburn. We saw Auburn do some nice things, especially in the run game. We watched the SEC championship game with Georgia coming down, and there were some things on tape that Jerry pointed out that Michigan will certainly be looking at. Jerry, you're going to go back to one of the teams that is in the other semifinal at night on New Year's Day, Texas. They went into Tuscaloosa earlier in the year, and you're going to present some of that film. We're looking forward to that. Let's start though with bowl season. I don't know, Jerry. There's bowls on every day. Heck, there's one on starting right now. I mean, do you catch any of them, or because of where it's at now? No, you don't watch any of them.
No, I watched them, Denny. The one that really that keeps surprising me is Northwestern. To beat Utah. I would consider them a perennial power right now, at least in the old Pac-10 anyways. I mean, they've been in the Rose Bowl 2 times in the last 3 years. And so they've gone against Ohio State and they've gone against Penn State in those Rose Bowls, and they've beaten USC and UCLA and those teams to get to the Rose Bowl. So for Northwestern to pull that off and the job that they've done all year long, you have to tip your hat to them and say congratulations on a great year And you got to look at that program and say, this could be somebody we need to keep an eye on. They're up and coming. Their facilities out there are phenomenal, right on Lake Michigan. Their biggest problem is, recruiting and their admissions, but they seem to be doing pretty well with the kids they have. So I think Northwestern was a real surprise there.
Yeah, I would agree with you, especially considering what they had to go through from Pat Fitzgerald to the new head coach. If you'd have said they wouldn't have won any games, I could say, I can understand. The kids were hitting the transfer portal, a little bit of a scandal, whatever it was. And but yeah, look at them winning the bowl game. Pretty impressive. Let's look at some of the other bowl games that will be out there. First, I want to tell everybody, of Christmas. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Also hope you took advantage of giving that gift of the Maize and Blue Review to that special Michigan fan in your life by going to michigan.rivals.com. But guess what? If you didn't do that and you're having some kind of Christmas remorse, well, you could come back over the top and it's still like Christmas. Join the Maize and Blue Review today by going to michigan.rivals.com. That is the way that it's done. Well, right now, this is really, this week, but as, the days go by, the games get, I think more attractive and more attractive. Now, you might not like this slate tonight. We got 4 today, 4 tomorrow, 4 Friday, and 4 Saturday. If you're a college football fan, you can sit around watching game after game after game. Out of these 4 games, Jerry, is there one, if you had nothing else, if you could just watch one of these games, is there one that's jumping out to you?
I'll tell you what, Danny, I'm going to start off by saying this, and I've got my feelings on the transfer portal both ways. I think there could be some things done there to maybe improve it a little bit. But with the transfer portal, it really makes handicapping these bowl games extremely difficult. You have to really know what's going on and who's where. I'm looking at that Louisville game, and I can't see USC doing anything against Louisville. I think Louisville will be fine. I think their offense will get it back on track. They went up against a great Florida State team, a great Florida State defense, one of the best in the country probably. And, they got smacked down a little bit. But I think Braun will have his boys ready, and I think Louisville will pull off a big win there.
I agree with you. I don't think USC wants to be in that game. It's not like, going down to San Diego from Southern California is some big treat for those fans or for the players there. Meanwhile, Louisville, that would be huge for Braun. I guess it's his first season, right? So yeah, Michigan played against his Purdue team in the Big Ten championship game last year. So that's a real big deal there for Louisville.
Yep. I really do. I think that is a huge opportunity for Louisville. And what a great turnaround. You got to give it to Braun. He's done a great job at Louisville this year. Think about it. Last year, he's in the Big Ten championship game, and now he's in the ACC championship game. So, hats off to him, even though he possibly collaborated with some of our adversaries. I like that Tulane team against Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech, the ACC, they're reeling a little bit, and I think Tulane has been a pretty consistent team over the last 2 years. They've got some nice weapons on offense, and I think they'll be rolling Virginia Tech pretty good. So I got Louisville and Tulane. That Oklahoma State game, I don't know if the real Oklahoma State team showed up against Texas. And what I mean by that is I think they got talked out of their running game early, and it put them behind the 8 ball quick. I'm looking for a different Oklahoma State team to show up, even though my good friend DJ Durkin is the defensive coordinator down at Texas A&M. I'm going to have to pick against them. I think Oklahoma State's got some offensive weapons, and they can do some stuff. So those are my 3 big picks, and I'll take North Carolina over West Virginia.
You're picking them all. I like Ollie Gordon for Oklahoma State, and he's going to be in the game tonight, which is a little bit of a surprise. It looks like he's coming back to
Right.
Stillwater. So then the 4 tomorrow, the odd one with SMU and BC. There's a Big Ten clash in the Bronx in the Pinstripe Bowl. Rutgers and Miami, two teams that nobody around here really likes. Bag U and Rutgers, and then you also have NC State and Kansas State. Here's the game. If I'm going to pick one out of the Tuesdays, you mentioned a former Michigan assistant. Jed Fish is the head man there at Arizona, and they've had a heck of a year. They've won 6 games in a row.
Right.
And Oklahoma, their quarterback is headed to Oregon. They got a 5-star kid they're going to be playing in this game. So that, to me, this is the highlight, at least of the next 2 days, taking a look at the games that are going to be played here.
I kind of like Arizona in that game. The Pac conference had a great off season before or a preseason, whatever you want to call it, non-conference schedule. They did very well in non-conference games, and Fish has done outstanding at Arizona. What a turnaround he's created there, and I think this team is gearing for the future. I think this is a good kickoff for their team, and I think they're going to be ready to go.
Antoine not seeing it with USC either in that Holiday Bowl. That gets us to Friday. Some bigger names in the bigger bowls. Gator Bowl, that's been being played for a very long time. You got Clemson and Kentucky. You got Oregon State, the last of the two, but now they found a conference. They're taking on Notre Dame. You want to look at the opt-outs with Jonathan Smith going to Michigan State, and then Notre Dame. All of their players have elected to go pro or in the transfer portal. In the Sun Bowl, Memphis and Iowa State is in there. Then there's this one. We're waiting to see a couple Ohio State players like Maserati Marv. I would assume that he would not play in the game since he could be picked as high as number 2 in the NFL draft. But
I like Missouri in that game.
Me too.
I like Missouri in this game. I think Ohio's losing some people. I would be very concerned losing the quarterback. I thought he had some questionable mobility, but I thought he threw the ball well against us, and I thought he performed pretty well. He had the 2 interceptions, but both were I think his team helped create those interceptions too. So I don't like Ohio in this game. I like Missouri in that game.
How about Penn State? They play on Saturday in the Peach Bowl. You got Maryland, unfortunately, Talia. And, of course, their great linebacker has transferred to Michigan. I'm talking about from Maryland. So those Big Ten teams, Maryland's going to be a shell of their team. Just like Florida State, you said they're a great team, 13-0. You can understand that. But now even their backup quarterback is in the transfer portal for this game against Georgia in the Orange Bowl. And what's a 16.5-point underdog considering the defections. And the team from right around here, you're familiar with a little MAC ball. Toledo, they lost their first game of the year at Illinois, and then they lost in the MAC title game to Miami of Ohio, but then ripped off those 11 sandwiched in between those. Although Wyoming, they're sending their coach off. He's playing his last game, so they're trying to win one for the Gipper there. So,
and they beat Texas Tech this year at the beginning of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Wyoming beat Texas Tech early in the season, so that Wyoming team, they got some players. They're tough to beat in. Is it Larrabee, Wyoming? They're tough to beat there, but they've got some players. And like I said, they beat Texas Tech. I'd be concerned if I was Toledo in that game.
All right, New Year's Day. You need something to do. You might want to wake. Now, Jerry, you'll be out in California, and, so I don't know if you're going to have time to watch these games. You're going to be tailgating. You're going to be en route, to Pasadena. You're going to be maybe at a tailgate, whatever else. But Wisconsin and LSU, you've got Liberty out of Conference USA taking on Oregon, and then Iowa. There they are. They were in the Big Ten championship game, as everyone knows, taking on the former Wolverine signal caller Joe Milton in the Citrus Bowl at 1:00. All of that to get you to 5 o'clock in Michigan. I don't know, Jerry, are you going to have a chance to see any of these games? What's your plan on New Year's Day in the morning and then in the early afternoon?
Well, I plan on getting out to Pasadena as soon as possible. I got to talk to my old roommate Vinny DeFelice, and we got to figure out our game plan. But I want to get out to Pasadena as soon as possible. Maybe get breakfast at the 1881 club that we used to frequent after bowl games and nights out. Maybe they're open for breakfast and watch some games there, and then head over to the Rose Bowl and watch Michigan beat Alabama. I tell you what, I'm not looking at a very good bowl season for some of these Big Ten teams. I think Iowa's going to get beat. I think
Maryland.
Maryland's going to have a tough time. Who was the other one I saw out there that just stuck out? LSU's playing who? Wisconsin. I don't think that's a brainer. I think that's a no-brainer right there. Oregon might be a little bit down with Liberty, but I don't think Liberty's seen the kind of talent that Oregon's going to present to them. So I'm going to go with Oregon on that one. But I like Michigan, and I like Texas.
You like Texas, okay? So I like Washington in that other semifinal. I like not only Dunze, and I like all three now wide receivers that Penix has. And if there's one way to beat the Longhorns, it is through the air, and that's exactly what Washington do. I think it's a bad matchup for Texas. I have the Huskies outright. All right, we want to hear more of what you think about the game on Monday against Alabama. Mark says Alabama pretty much gives up 20 to every decent team. Do you see Michigan being 7 to 13 points better than that? And can Michigan keep Alabama to an OSU, PSU level, low 20s maybe? Now, I picked 27-20 right now. That's my score in this game. So all the answers to what Mark has to say there, I am saying yes. I think Michigan can do all those things.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I see Michigan going 7 to 13 points over 20. I think that's a good stat to say every decent team. I mean, that's a pretty interesting stat right there. I think Michigan's going to score between 27 and 30 points. And I'm very interested in seeing what Jesse Manor has in store for Alabama's offense. This could be going to be a very interesting matchup there. We know Menor's got tricks up his sleeve, and this quarterback has struggled against defenses that confuse you, and so he's going to have his work cut out for him.
Well, I'm encouraged about Michigan's defense. All year long, they have been the best scoring defense in all of college football. So they do have that going for them. I think the other thing, I was sitting there on Christmas night, not thinking about Michigan necessarily. I was watching the Ravens play the 49ers, but the way that Mike McDonald went out there and his defense was just in the right place, and the way they really stuffed the 49ers offense, and knowing that that's the Michigan defense, and that's Jesse Minter's pal, and he's running the same defense that McDonald's running there at Baltimore and everything else. I wasn't thinking that I was going to be more encouraged about Michigan than I already was in a week's time on Christmas Day, but there I was feeling more encouraged about it, Jerry. And the month off, I was lamenting it a little bit about, wow, I wish they could play, and next year they will play faster, but I guess sooner is the way to say it. They won't have as much time off. Getting Will Johnson the time off, he was a little bit nicked up at the end of the season, Michigan's corner. And then, J.J. McCarthy, who I think will be the difference in the game, getting him a month off, that's got to help him. I don't know, exactly what the injury was, if he's going to be 100% or not, but he'll be better than he was. And that could make all the difference in the world. So I think, you're a Michigan fan, there's a lot to worry about, the name, Saban and Alabama and everything else. But I like it. And Michigan's got a lot of stars, Jerry, a lot of stars. They're not relying on one aspect of the game. They can play a lot of different ways. I like that part about them too.
Well, that's been the key. I'm going to go back to that Baltimore. That's a heck of a pipeline. I don't think people realize how valuable that is. When you got the phone call you got information a phone call away. And you're calling your brother, and your brother's defensive coordinator was your defensive coordinator a couple years ago, and your defensive coordinator worked with your brother and the old defensive coordinator. So, I mean, that communication, that collaboration is very good and very important for us, and it is a great thing. And when you look at both teams, and I'm talking about Baltimore, the Ravens, and Michigan. I mean, very similar in their approaches to the game and how they attack and their philosophy. So that's a very underrated pipeline. Great opportunity to collaborate and exchange information, and that's a big thing. The other thing is, Denny, you hit the nail on the head right there. Every time Michigan seemed to get a little bit of a stop, meaning people tend to stop Michigan a little bit. Michigan had an answer to go somewhere else with their strength against a weakness. And, you look at Penn State. We're looking at that game. Those first 3 or 4 plays, that defensive end is up the field. I'm thinking, how the heck are we going to block them? And I knew right now the best way is run at them. And that's what Michigan ended up doing. And so that's been the really big thing that I've seen about Michigan this year. Every time somebody tries to stop something, Michigan has an answer going somewhere else and exploits what that weakness is. And that's the best way. That confuses defenses tremendously. And I think that's been a huge positive for Michigan this year.
Good stuff. And Mark was right on the feedback. He pointed out that Joe Milton is passing up on the Citrus Bowl and opting out for Tennessee. And that was going to be news to me. And that just happened an hour or two ago that Milton is opting out for the Vols. So they got their young hotshot that they illegally promised a couple $1 million for and ended up getting them after they were already in hot water. But hey, you are allowed to do that. I can sit around crying about that. And I will, but there's plenty of off season for that. Just on the offense, like, how will Michigan attack and everything else? They, Blake Corum is a great running back. Michigan, I know they lost Zach Center, but they have a lot of capable offensive linemen. I've already talked about JJ McCarthy, what he's able to do with his legs, the way that he can throw the football. And people were worried about Michigan's playmaking ability at receiver in the off season. I was like, Michigan just doesn't have somebody. I was telling me Roman Wilson, he can't, he's not even, one of the top 6 wide receivers in the conference. But, if you, he ended up being, one of the top 6 in the conference. Outstanding season. Coach O had.
If you take away the fourth quarter, third and a half and fourth quarters, I think Wilson would be up there even further. I mean, think about it. Michigan's offense and their defense really didn't play much in the fourth quarter until Penn State. So.
Well, Roman Wilson came up big. He came up big. He got knocked out. Was it the Maryland game? But then he came back and scored the pretty big touchdown. It was controversial a little bit. It was close with a replay and everything else, but that was likely the biggest play of the game. The touchdown that he actually scored. Kojo's been big in big-time games, and we know that that Colston Loveland is as dangerous as they come. So Michigan's got a lot of options. And then, the wild card, I don't know how they're going to use Donovan Edwards. I would think trying to get matchups in the passing game, but heck, when they think he's in there, they're thinking that. So maybe they run him, and he scored a big touchdown on the ground at Penn State on that first scoring drive. Well, the first one, the really make you feel confident about Michigan offensively, or he ran that one in. So he's a nice wild card. And the aforementioned Samaj Morgan is as well. You think, yeah, they want to get the ball in his hands. Yes, they do want to get the ball in his hands. How they do it, Jerry, we'll see. Maybe it'll be on some end arounds. Maybe they'll actually throw him the ball, smoke screen. He's shown that he's a capable wide receiver as well. So I don't know. And then, I don't know, super wild card is going to Alex Orji, which we saw a package for him against, what was that, Ohio State, right? So, there's let's go. A lot of wild cards, a lot of stars. Feel pretty good about it.
Well, like one of my keys to victory, Denny, is our quarterback has to be able to run the ball with design runs and with scrambles. we're going to take a look here. A big play on the first drive by Texas. Evers breaks contain
Let's do it.
Texas.
Let's get to it, Jerry.
Okay, let's go.
All right. I mean, you're talking about it. I'm ready to see it.
All right. Let's see if
I'm
I can
ready
get
to
this
go.
thing up. We ready to go? Can you see it all, Denny, or do I got to get back out and go back in?
You have to enlarge it. Can you enlarge it?
No, I can't hear. Okay.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna go ahead and advertise, Denny. I'll get it back up.
Well, I don't really think it's an advertisement, Jerry. I think what it is an assist for all of you folks out there, and it's about Michigan and the Maize and Blue Review. Join up today by going to michigan.rivals.com, and we will see you there. Now we take you to Tuscaloosa earlier in the year. One of the games of the season. This one lived up to the hype. Texas went in, and Jerry, they smacked around Alabama and beat them. What did you see when we watched this film? Go ahead.
Well, you know what I saw? The big thing I saw was Alabama was confused on defense on several occasions. I saw Texas exploit the quick side or the weak side. And when I say the quick side, Denny, right here, you got 3 receivers versus 1. The quick side is over here. The quick side is over here with the 1 receiver side. The strong side is over here with the 3 receiver side. And then I call the strength when there's a tight end. That would be a strength. But Texas seemed to get a lot of their action going to the quick side running the game. I saw a lot of confusion on the defensive side from Alabama. I saw a lot of man coverage underneath. And they blitzed. It seemed like they blitzed Texas a lot more than they blitzed Georgia and Auburn. So maybe they got out of that philosophy because Texas exploited it. But those were the kind of things that jumped out at me at this game. This was a clinic by Texas. Really, they really went after Alabama and gave them everything they wanted. Okay, so here's the first play I picked out. Remember, we are on the first drive of the game. And when we take a look at this drive, Denny, you're going to see that Texas had the ball on the first drive of the game for 10 minutes, and I think it was 14 seconds. Mm-hmm. That's a quarter of the game almost. And that's a great way to win ball games right there. Keep the ball, control the ball, keep Alabama's offense off the field, and score points. So here we're going to see Alabama. They're going to utilize the same kind of stunt that we always use, that tackle out for contain and underneath. Watch Texas and what they do. I like what they do. They kind of pin the whole thing in, and they got everybody down inside. Now look at all this room out here. You can see Alabama's man on. These guys, their eyes are on their man. There's nowhere else to go. That's where they're at. Their eyes are on their man. That means they cannot fall in right away and make this play. The linebacker is man on the back. And so he can't get over here and make this play. And the safety is way out of the way. So watch what Texas does. They cave that backside in, that defensive end in, and Texas picks up a huge play for 11 yards, keeps the drive alive, and take advantage of a stunt by Alabama. That's a great play right there. And Texas, they picked that stunt up pretty well. I was very impressed with that. Here it is from the end zone camera. See number 70 and 52. They're just pinning that thing in, and there's all kinds of room out there. And that's what I saw. A lot of man coverage from Alabama, a lot of man under coverage from Alabama, which means your eyes are no longer on the quarterback, and you're going to have a hard time making a play early. Denny, we have to get better blocking than this out of our tight ends. He's a great pass receiver. He's tremendous talent receiving passes. He's a playmaker, breaks games open. His blocking is very suspect, at least this early in the season. Watch him get pushed around here. That just basically destroys the whole play right there. He's in the backfield. We cannot allow we can't have our tight ends blocking like this. Our tight ends have got to block those 6 techniques and at least engage them and keep them from reaching in. You're going to see it even more so from the back end. Watch how he gets into the way right there. Look at that. Look at where he's right in the hole. this is a pretty good play. If they stay on this double team right here and take it out, they've got a chance to make this play go. But this kid getting blocked down so far, getting pressed into the hole so bad, there's nowhere to go for the running back, and there's a no gainer there. We have to have better blocking from our tight ends in this game. Cannot allow that stuff to happen right there. Okay, so here's Texas, 1st and 10, ball on the 30. 2 backs, they put the tight end in motion. 3 over here. 3 over here. Quick side runs, outside zone here. Alabama's got to respect this. They've got to have their personnel over here. What Alabama does, and we have to take advantage of this, is Alabama really angles hard. They're so fast that they're actually getting 2 gaps removed. And I used to call this rock. Reach, overtake, and climb. Reach, overtake by the inside guy, and then climb. Okay? And that's what Texas does here on this outside zone. Watch his tackle. He actually reaches outside the outside linebacker and then gets up to the linebacker. The guard actually gets to the outside linebacker, and then the center gets the 3 technique or the 4-eye technique. Outstanding blocking right there. That's a tremendous job by that team. And again, it's a quick side run. Alabama doesn't seem to have enough people over on this quick side. And I think we've seen 3 teams take advantage of it. So I expect to see some balls going away from our strength.
I expect to see some reaching, some overtaking, and some climbing by that Michigan offensive line.
I wouldn't mind seeing that a little bit too, Denny. I like that thought. Yeah. I like outside zone, Denny. It was a huge play for us. I don't think Michigan runs it all that much. I'd like to see it more, especially with Edwards going to be taking a helm for running back here next year. I think we're going to be looking at going outside a little bit more. But watch this outside zone here. Look at how this guy's in a 4-eye. The center picks him up. This guy is in a 5 or 6. The guard picks him up. The tackle picks up the linebacker. This is an outstanding job by Texas right here. Short, choppy steps. Watch their footwork. They're short, choppy steps, and they're keeping them moving, and they're just running their path. That's all they're doing. They're running their path, and they're aiming for that outside shoulder. Once they capture that outside shoulder, they win. And that's what Texas did to Alabama right there. So, again, I think those quick side runs are going to be are big. Okay, here's Texas. There's a lot of green over here, Denny. There's a lot of green. I think Texas should have run over here. Look at what they do. They put the formation in the boundary, and on pretty much all of Alabama's personnel is to the boundary, which means that's wide open on the outside. I think Texas does themselves a real disservice by running to the strength and motioning away to the quick side. I think they would have been better off had they run some kind of counter away from the strength. Again, watch the tight end. He is not a very good blocker. We're gonna see that for game 2 in the national championship. But this kid, great pass receiver, dangerous kid, but he is not a good blocker. Right there, he's getting in the way of the center and the guard who are pulling. I would have done this, Denny. This is what I would have done with this formation right here. Look at how Texas has got him outmanned. Remember how I counted, Denny? Here's a half, here's a half, here's a half. So Alabama on the first 2 levels has 3.5. We have 4. It would appear that Alabama had the numbers over here, but this guy's so far removed, he's making plays 8 yards down the field. So I'm going to count that as a 4-3 advantage to the quick side for Texas. Watch the tight end getting blocked there, getting knocked down. What I would have done there, Denny, I would have loved to have seen a counter right here. I would have loved to have seen a counter right here. Look at what I'm talking about right here when I say counter. No motion. Don't motion. I'm not going to show me, huh? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Right there. This tackle's got a great angle on the linebacker. This guard's got a great angle on the 1 technique. The center's got a great angle on that 3 technique. You pull the guard and kick out the edge player who's sitting in a 6 technique. You lead with the back and you pull around with the tackle on a counter, and you've got numbers. You got numbers there. And I think this could be a huge play and a huge formation for us going against Alabama. I think they have some, in my opinion, I think they have some real issues on that quick side. I think they're very vulnerable on the quick side there. So I expect to see Michigan attacking that quick side. Okay. Here is Bama, 2nd and 12, 5:52 to go. In the first quarter, remember, this is still the first drive, Denny. This is still the first drive.
It's taking forever, this first drive.
It's over 10 minutes. So Alabama, okay, they're sitting at 4th and 2. Texas is sitting at 4th and 2. Sarkisian decides to go for it, which is a good call, great gutsy call here. And what does he do? He gives it a nice, easy rollout pass with a couple of rubs here with the receivers. Watch the receivers. They don't even get near them. They just make the path wider. So now Dawson's got to go all the way around that number 5, and there's the tight end sitting in the flat. We've got to take advantage of tight ends and backs out of the backfield. I think Donovan Edwards and Loveland are going to be key, huge players for us to win this ball game. I think they're going to be hard matchups for Bama's defense. They capture the edge, easy pitch and catch out there. That's just football 101 right there. Okay, so here we are, 1st and goal on the 6. Denny, you know doggone well what I want to do. I want to get in here with 32 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 fullbacks, or I want to get in here with 7 offensive linemen, and I don't care what we do. We're going to end up in the end zone from 5 yards out. I pretty much guarantee Michigan will end up in the end zone from 5 yards out. You can't have you got to score touchdowns. We have to score touchdowns against Alabama, and that's what we have to do. We can't just let rely on field goals. I love Turner, but we've got to score touchdowns. This is what I'm talking about. Watch this kid, number 0. Watch his block on the way in. Very soft block. We've got to have better blocking from our tight ends. Do you see that, Denny?
Yeah, this guy, he stands. He's a terrible blocker.
Real soft blocker, and we need to do a better job on that from our tight ends.
How about this point, Jerry? It's by Mark looking at the 350 yards that Ewers had, and how he racked it up on Alabama, and they only ran for 100 yards. And when you hear people talk about Alabama secondary, like Kool-Aid, the guy on the other side, these guys are first-round talents. You were pointing out number 2, the youngster back there, these DBs. They must have gotten better, especially number 2. I think he's a freshman DB. They have improved back there in the secondary.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to go with Mark on this, and we're going to take a look at him, Mark. We're going to take a look at how Texas put all those yards up on Alabama throwing the ball. They occupied the safeties. They ran digs underneath and post behind it, and that is exactly what Texas did. It was a great game plan. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Hit those under routes, make those safeties come up, and then send Wilson or Johnson deep on those behind post, and it was a very effective game plan that Texas had. The problem I had was 2 out of 3 passes here on the 2 out of 3 plays here on the 5-yard line were passes, and I don't think that's the way you go at this team, not down the goal line. Well, I tell you what, look at that tight end block. That's
yeah, like that.
That's soft. I hope I'm not eating my words next week, but boy, he was soft blocking there. So you got to score touchdowns in the red zone. Missed a pass there, and got to score touchdowns. Here you go, Denny. First drive of the game, 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Texas took that ball. that will win you a lot of ball games. If you can score points and control the ball for that long on drives like that, that's going to win you a lot of ball games. 10 minutes and 14 seconds. And I think Michigan's capable of doing that kind of stuff.
Yes, they are.
And a lot of that was on the ground, though. A lot of that was on the ground. Here's a quick side counter. Now, when we're going to see here, Alabama loves running these 4-eye techniques. I never really liked it. They run these 4-eye techniques in this 3-3 stack. And I'm calling it a 3-3 stack because you got the linebacker here and you got 3 down linemen. And that's pretty much Alabama's MO. But watch it. These tackles are reading the guards. Okay? So when this guard blocks down, the tackle's going down with them, which makes a nice, easy block for this tackle to wash everything down. Who makes the play is this backside tackle. Instead of getting in the backside, in the guard's backside pocket, which everybody talks about, what he does is he plays over the top from the center and makes the play. But if this play is blocked properly, it's another big gain to the quick side. Watch 93. He's getting washed down by that left tackle. Watch the kick out block by the right guard. Boom. He just launches this number 30 and then drives him into the ground. If this backside tackle gets the right angle and gets on that right shoulder of the linebacker, this play is a big, big play. Consequently, the defensive tackle makes the play because the linebacker spills it properly. He's taking it on with the inside shoulder, spilling it back to the defensive lineman, and that's who makes the play. Watch it right here. Watch him. He's reading this guard. He's reading that guard right there. As soon as this guard pulls, he's attacking the center and then fights over top of him. I'm not crazy about, I used to love running against 4 eyes. I never liked playing our guys in 4 eyes because I always liked the outside shoulder. I always liked the outside shoulder. I think you could squeeze better that way. This way, you're still reading here, which makes it an easy wash down block by the tackle. Watch the tackle just bury this kid down past the center. He buries him almost to the hash mark. Almost to the hash mark. Look at the hole out here. You see that hole right there, Denny?
Yeah.
Great kick out block here. If this tackle gets on this edge, on this side of the linebacker, if he captures the outside shoulder, this play is in the secondary for 8-10 yards. But that's, again, running to the quick side. You got to make that block by the tackle, that 91. He does a great job playing over the top of the center. Watch him playing over the top. Center's blocking back. He's just playing right along the sideline. He's not getting any kind of penetration. Plays along the side, the flow of the line, and makes the play. That's a great job by that defensive tackle right there.
Yeah, that was.
But again, I think very seriously, quick side runs are going to be key for us. Okay, and here's what I think Mark is talking about, and here's what I think we can hit them with. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Under routes, and then post behind it. This is a great design by Texas. And again, I think Texas is a little bit confused. You see that safety come up on the dig, which gives that post wide open. He's got leverage, Denny. That safety is playing outside. He might even be thinking he has a little help on the inside. And one other thing, watch the receiver give just a slight little head motion this way and then cuts back underneath. Just enough to twitch his hips. When his hips are twitched, he's a step behind. Right there. You see it?
Yeah.
See him? Right there. See his head turned that way? He's looking this way. He twitches his hips just a tad and gets his feet caught up. Great route, great throw, and I think we can throw that play a couple, 3 times in the game and possibly hit a couple. I really do. I think Texas or Bama's safeties are coming up, and I think we can hit behind them. And that's why I like those under routes.
Yeah, you give JJ some time, whether it's Roman Wilson to be able to free himself. He's got the speed, whether it's going to be Loveland or Kojo. I mean, they can make that play.
Absolutely. And we have made a play. We have made that play in the past. So that's not something new. Okay. I think Edwards and Loveland present matchup problems for Alabama all day long. And again, this goes with my check downs, under routes, flat routes, boots. That's what I'm talking about with Loveland and Edwards. We got to get them involved in a game because I think they present real matchup problems. Here, the running back goes in motion, leaving Texas in empty. Now they're asking this middle linebacker to cover to back out. That's a mismatch. There's no way he's going to make that play for anything respectable. There's no way. You got two blockers out in front, and the linebacker makes the play on an 8-yard gain. That's a really good play by the linebacker too, by the way. That's a great play by the linebacker, but it's just a mismatch. There's no way he should be covering that back out like that with no help. That's what I'm talking about, Denny. I think they ran a lot of man coverage, and maybe that's why they changed up a little bit against Auburn and Georgia and didn't blitz as much. So, okay, again, Edwards is going to be a problem for him, and so is Loveland. Okay, again, I think they're confused. I think number 13 should have stayed with the tight end there. The corner's got the number 3 receiver, but they're confused. The safety is going with the number 1 receiver, and I'm going to point them out what I'm talking about: number 1, number 2, number 3. Here's number 1. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. Let me get that off there real quick, Denny. 1, 2, 3. The reason why, you count it from the sideline. So he's the closest. He's number 1. He's second closest, number 2, number 3. Watch number 3 goes out and takes the corner and the safety. The tight end presses the inside shoulder and comes back underneath, and the number 1 receiver just comes across and he vacates that safety right there. There's that safety vacating. Right behind it is the tight end. Something we do all the time.
Yeah.
Something we do all the time right there. And so, again, if Alabama blitzes, and now here's another thing, okay? When you blitz, you're getting your linebackers man on. Even though this guy doesn't come out for a pass, he steps up. He's got to respect that and cover it because he doesn't know. It could be some kind of screen or something. He's got to step up and cover that back out, and that vacates the whole middle of the field right there. Now there's nobody left in the middle of the field. You see that, Denny?
Yeah. He could have gone to the tight end. He could have taken that.
He could have gone to either one coming over the middle. Either route was wide open.
1 or 2.
1 or 2.
Yeah. Nice to have those options.
Yeah, exactly. Again, here's Alabama. They're confused. Look at that. They got 3. Look at this. 3 receivers out here. There's one guy covering them. Look at all this space out here. They're looking around. They're confused. They are totally confused at this point in time. Texas had them confused. And they take advantage of it. A quick, easy, simple play just got got Alabama confused. Okay. Here we have misdirection with their keys. Misdirection with their keys. We know these linebackers are reading what? They're reading these wings. They're reading these wings because the wing is going to wham. He can do all kinds of different things. Come underneath for a counter. In the tunnel, he can do all kinds of things. So a lot of people now are starting to read these wings. What that does is it tells the wings, hey, wait a minute, we can utilize this, run one way, and then come back around. Heck, I did that against Michigan State, and Anthony Carter scored a touchdown on that play. It's not that hard to do, and it's very effective. I think we can run this reverse a couple, 3 times, and I'm not one to run reverses and gadgets and all this other stuff, but the way Bama reads these wings and these tight ends, I think reverses are going to be there all day. We saw it was open against Georgia. It was just fumbled. We saw Auburn scored against it, and this one would have been a touchdown had the tight end made a block. Look at that. Who's going to make that play? There's nobody out there except one guy. That's it. Now, I would have liked to see the
finally get a good block.
Huh?
Did Zero finally make a good block?
No, he didn't make any block. That's why the play only goes for 4 yards. This play should have been a touchdown. I would have liked to see the back kind of get go inside and then back out. Anthony did that for me and helping me on that block, but he doesn't, and he goes inside and the kid makes a play. But there is nobody out there. Look at this. You got 3 lead blockers and 1 defender. This is a touchdown waiting to happen. And I think we should be looking to run reverses a couple, 3 times, maybe 4 times in this game. Keep them guessing. Make their linebackers wonder if the key is right. Because if they're questioning their keys, then you got them. Then you got them. That's hard to make an adjustment during the game on that one. Okay. This might be one of their answers on quick side runs, and that is going with corners, coming off, and blitzing. Now, this receiver doesn't get any kind of block here. He should have, and I understand he's in space, and he's probably thinking he's running off with me, so I don't need to get that block so much. This kid comes down and makes a great play. This is their answer. The problem with their answer, though, is if he's running downfield for a pass, a route, could be wide open. He could be wide open. So that could be their answer for quick side runs. I think it's risky. I think that's risky. Under routes and crossings, tight ends and backs. Okay, watch the tight end sneak out here. Look at all the formation. Where's the strength? Over here, right? Here's all the strength. Well, actually, they're balanced. They're balanced. They're going to move him over and present the strength over here on the wide side of the field, which moves all Alabama's personnel over to the wide side of the field. Then the tight end sneaks out. The linebacker. Now, look at Evers. Look at Evers. He knows this linebacker is going to tell him where to go, where to throw the ball to. When that linebacker makes a play on the running back because he knows he's in man, he hits the tight end from wide open. Great play design. Nice way to delay your tight end. Again, another way to get your tight end into the game. Wide open down the sideline. And again, I thought Texas did an outstanding job confusing them all day long. Watch them delay, rips the arm through. That linebacker comes up. Let's see if Evers is really looking. Where's Evers looking? He's looking right now at that linebacker, isn't he, Denny?
Yes, he is.
He's looking right now at him. And when that linebacker goes to the back, which is his man, he leaves the tight end wide open on the other side. Great play design. And Texas did this to Alabama pretty much the whole game. Okay. Motion into the strength. Quick side run. Counter. Quick side run. Now, this is really different, Denny. Usually, it's the first guy that kicks out and the second guy tunnels through. Here, Texas kicks out with the second guy and the first guy tunnels through. The guard tunnels through on this counter. But the 5 technique is so wide, they can get that kick out by the tight end. But here it is, opens up. Nice hole. They're just caving everything down, pinning everything inside, and exploiting personnel matchups there.
It's like Zero finally got his hat on somebody.
Somebody, yeah, finally.
He
Finally got something done. But watch this. See, great angles. Great angles. They just can't. Look at all that mess inside there, Denny. Look at all that mess. There's nowhere for linebackers to run through. This linebacker number 32 is trying to run through a hole, and there's nowhere to go. It's all bottled up. And so Texas did a nice job designing their quick side runs, confusing the defenses, catching them in man coverages. Did a nice job with all that. And who knows? Maybe Sarkisian knows when Saban likes to go with man and when he likes to go with zone. So maybe he put him in those kinds of positions. This would be huge if we can pull Nugent. I hope his ankle is much better. The kid was a warrior. I couldn't believe I heard about him in that championship game. He's been a warrior all year long, and he was a warrior in that game. But if we can pull centers in this game, I think it really opens up our run game. But here's the center and the guard kicking out, and there's a huge hole right there. This time they're running to the strength. So they're running to the tight end side, and they're running to the strength. Great play design. Boy, if we can do that with Nugent, that would be really nice. Pulls out, kicks out, pulls out, kicks out. I want you to watch number 0 again in his blocking. Now, I might eat my words next week. I hope I don't eat my words next week. But this kid is not one of the better blockers you saw. He comes down real soft, and the linebacker almost pushes him right back into the play. Watch it. Jeez. Look at – you see that, Denny?
Yeah.
If our tight ends block like that, we don't have a prayer. We don't have a prayer. Our tight ends have got to be much better than this. This is unacceptable right there. Yeah, that's –
Well, I can guarantee you Barner's not going to block like that. And Colston Loveland has been better.
Much better. Much better. Much better. Loveland has become a much better blocker. Yes, yep. Absolutely. All right, tight ends and backs confused. They're confused again. 2 guys right there. 2 guys take the tight end, and then they both leave him for the back. Right there. Both of them are engaged in the tight end. They're in great position. Now they both leave him and go to the tight end, leaving him wide open. This was a huge play in this game. Big play, big yardage. Safety is out of the play. You got 2 receivers running off these other 2 DBs. And the tight end is wide open. Tight ends and backs out of the backfield, I think, are going to present this team some problems. And I'm sure they're much better now, but they seem very, very confused against Texas. Very confused. Wide open. Again, here's Alabama confused again. Okay? There is no way, if you've got inside control, there is no way you allow the receiver get inside you. You make him fade. But he is thinking he's got inside help with the safety. They're confused again. The cornerback expects the inside help from the safety. He releases them inside, and the safety steps up, and the ball's thrown right behind him.
Kool-Aid
Texas
didn't look
had
like
this team very confused.
Yeah, I mean that's their top corner. That's not very good defense. Wow.
There is no way you're going to allow that to get inside if you know you have inside control. If you do, you need to get fired. Okay. What do we got here now? All right, here we are, Denny. This is the last drive. They got a 10-point lead. Texas has got a 10-point lead. They've got to secure this victory. There's a lot of time left. They've got to get some first downs. They got to move this ball out of this area. So what do? They go with what we used to call twins. We used to call twins. 2 receivers outside here, the tight ends away from the 2 receiver side. So you got twins over here. You got 2 backs in the backfield with the quarterback. When you send the motion away, now you tell that free safety, you got to get over here a little bit more, which leaves number one-on-one with this tight end. And there's a lot of distance for him to make up. What does Texas do? They run a little screen. And this is a great call. Here they catch Texas on a blitz with the screen. That's what you want to do. You want to catch people blitzing when you're screening. That's the objective of a screen. Catch them blitzing. Because there's nothing behind it then. Great play call, great design, great manipulation. They're moving Alabama's defense around. Alabama's not moving Texas's offense. Texas's offense is moving Alabama's defense around. Great call. Okay. Here we are a little bit later on in the same drive. Again, remember, Denny, they took the ball for a wait a minute, excuse me. I'm sorry. This is 27-24 at this point in time. Remember, they took the ball for 10 minutes, over 10 minutes on the first drive.
Yep.
So, again, here you go. Under route with the post behind it. I'll tell you what, Denny, when I was a defensive coordinator at Benton Harbor, this pattern used to give me nightmares because I always knew that safety was going to come up on it. And the leverage is on the outside from the corner. Watch the head move again by this receiver. He attacks the outside shoulder. Look at him attack his outside shoulder, making him widen out even more, and then bends it back in. Big play, occupy the safeties. If we want big plays, you got to occupy those safeties, make them commit, come up, and then throw it behind them. Great move. Wide open.
Touchdown.
And I think that's what Mark was saying. That's where it was, Mark. That's where it was, right there. Under route, bringing the safeties up and throwing the post behind it. And I think we can accomplish this 3 or 4 times in the game. And I mean, when I say accomplish it, run it 3 or 4 times in the game. Let's see how many times we can succeed.
I'll tell you this, if they don't knock JJ off his spot, I mean, yours is back there it looks like he's in a scrimmage. It looks like he's got a yellow jersey on. They don't touch him.
Well, you know what, Denny, I'll tell you what. You know, yours a heck of a quarterback. There's no question about it. But I'll tell you what, I think JJ's mechanics are better. I think JJ's mechanics are better than yours. I know he's a much better runner. So I look for JJ to have a big game. Here they are now. Okay, now we're at 34-24. 10 points. They've already started deeper in Texas's territory. They're moving the ball along. They've got to finish this game. They've got to secure it. Huge play here. What is it? Alabama's confused again. Look at this, Denny. Here's the strong side of the field. Here's the strength. Here's the tight end. Here's the strength. They only have 2 people over here on this side. And he's confused. He's like, what? I got to take these 3 guys on by myself? Are you kidding me? And this is late in the game. They're trying to win a ball game. They're trying to make a stop here. 3rd down and 7. And Texas runs right up the gut and picks up the first down and pretty much ices the game. That's the game right there. Look at this. How are you going to defend that? If I'm the coach and I tell my quarterback, if you see anything like that, just go straight and let's go. Tell everybody, let's go. Just run it right down. Look at that. There's nobody over here. There's 1 guy against 3.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. Watch him now. Watch him get back into play. Look at him. What are you doing, guys? What the heck kind of defense is that? Alabama was confused against Texas. Hopefully, we can do the same thing to them. And I think we can. We have done that all year long. And I think we can confuse them. You know, here's Texas. Not a great running team, supposedly, right? And they're running the ball right down their throat in the when the game counts and everybody knows they're running the ball. So, and that's what we want to see. with 3 minutes to go. Alabama fans leaving in droves.
Yeah, empty seats.
That's all I got, Denny.
Well, I'll tell you, Jerry. Now, Michigan staff with Jim Harbaugh and Sharon Moore as the offensive coordinator and Kirk Campbell as the quarterback coach, if they'll watch all of this film, if they can do some things, they did have Alabama confused, and you pointed that out. If Michigan can run away from the strength into the boundary on the short side into some of these runs, it's there. AJ Barner is an excellent blocker, and Colston Loveland. These guys, not only can they make hay running out of the backfield and down the seam, but also both of these two are going to be key in the blocking game. Wilson down the seam on those under routes, along with Donovan Edwards or Blake Corum out of the backfield. You give JJ that time, and then, hey, however you want to get the Alabama going from side to side, but it looks like some of both Texas in this game. Auburn obviously did it. Georgia tried, but they fumbled the game away. Get that ball, get a little misdirection there, and run a reverse. I mean, I would think it would be Samaj Morgan, but heck, you can put Donovan Edwards. You got a couple guys that are burners in there. We've seen Kojo on some reverses, and Roman Wilson might be the fastest guy in the field. Put him in there. Michigan
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
That's what I took away from today, Jerry.
Yep. Like I want to see, I would love to see us put strength into the boundary, meaning our strength into the boundary, because I think it really leaves the wide side of the field wide open against Bama. And so I'd like to see that, but that's what I'm thinking. JJ's got to be able to run. I think the quick side is there. I think those check downs, those passes to the backside of the backfield, and those tight end passes on boots and flat passes, I think those are there. And by running those under routes, I think that post behind it's going to be wide open. Again, Denny, I hated that pattern as a defensive coordinator. I hated it because I knew that safety was going to come up. And Texas did it to him twice and burned him big time for touchdowns.
Jerry, great film study. We enjoyed it. We want to wish you a happy new year. You are on your way to Cali. Bring back a victory, and we'll be talking with you before the championship game. Great job. Safe travels. Enjoy your time out in Pasadena.
Danny, thank you. Hail to the victors. Let's go, baby. Let's get a win.